This is Bucket Talk, a monthly podcast taking you across America to meet the most badass tradespeople, industry leaders, and personalities. If you're looking to level up in the trades, you're in the right place.
So a lot of you guys know we sponsor Charlie McAvoy, who plays for the Bruins. This is Charlie McAvoy, technically senior, but he really just goes by Charlie, right? That's it. They don't really have kind of the junior senior definition. So this is his father. We were super excited. Tim and Jeff and the team obviously formed the partnership this year going in. Really, really important to us. They're going to get into the details, so I don't want to spoil too much of it, but I ended up flying in. I got there a little later at the rink that Charlie Jr. and Charlie Sr., even though that's not what they call him, grew up on, where he started skating, and they'll get into the details of it. But I'd say the most exciting thing for me, right, was we got a guy who's been in the trades, multi-generation, did everything it took to kind of support his son, support his dreams. Now he's obviously here playing tonight. They're going to the Olympics, things that you can't dream of. And for me personally, I'll let Jeremy get into the reality. For me personally, really, really special partnership because I don't think I've ever told him this, but very reminiscent, right? My father grew up working 2 blue-collar jobs, different, right? I'm 40 now. Charlie's in his late 20s. My dad's 80. You're not even close to that. So it happened, a couple of decades in advance. But, my dad grew up working 2 blue-collar jobs to provide for my sisters and for me so that I can go on to do what I wanted to do. Obviously started BRUNT, and you guys have helped build the company. He did the same thing, made the sacrifices, the long hours, all the stuff for hockey. And the result is kind of all of us here today. So very unique for me personally. And Jeremy's going to get into the details of the partnership and the background and the story and all that. So can't thank Charlie enough for sitting down and doing this. This is not something he's usually fixing, plumbing, heating, and all that stuff. And to have him step up and do this for us is a huge thanks. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, we're here with Charlie McAvoy Sr., lifelong plumber, owner of McAvoy Plumbing and Heating, father of Boston Bruins alternate captain, Charlie McAvoy Jr., who is also a member of the U.S. national team. We got a very special episode of Bucket Talk today. We're in Heritage Hall at the TD Garden in Boston. Welcome, Charlie.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy and Eric and the whole BRUNT gang. It's great to see this company and the whole crew be here, and hoping for many more years of that.
All right. Well, before we get into why we're here in this location, let's start with your business. How'd you get into plumbing? The company itself started in New York in 1926, so it's 100 years old this year.
Yeah, this year is our 100th anniversary, which is, I told people I'm going to make it to 100 and then quit, but I don't think that's going to happen. I enjoy doing it, but yeah, my grandfather started the company in 1926 in Long Beach, New York, small town. It was pretty much an Army, Navy bungalow town at that time, and he created a company. In one of these bungalows, he had 26 men working out of that house, and then he went on to build our shop, where Eric had the pleasure to be there with me in 1941. He built that shop, and that's where we are now.
No way. So when it was your turn to step in and take over the business, did you feel pressured? Were you proud to do it, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. So I was getting I did one semester at college, and it was like my claim to fame. I played hockey there, and the team disbanded, so I figured I'm not going back to school now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I started working for my dad, and unfortunately 6 months later he passed away. So that kind of threw me into the fire. Always worked summers during, as a kid growing up, and enjoyed that. Made good money, worked hard, and learned some of the trade. But then when that happened, it was all hands. We had to jump in.
What was one of the hardest moments that really tested you when you were running the business? Probably when you first started off. I'm sure everything's smooth sailing now.
Yeah, when we first started off, it was my brother Kevin, who's 10 years older than me. He had to go and get licensed within a year after my dad's passing, because you can't operate a business without a license. So we were doing that, and he had had to get studying. I mean, it's plumbing's one thing, but the book part of it is a different story, and you just got to be ready and prepared to pass that test. So he got licensed, and we just took off from there. A lot of the guys that were working for my dad stayed with us, which was awesome, and we just kept rolling. And he and I worked together for the last 35 years. He finally retired 5 years ago. This is my 40th year at McAvoy.
Yeah. So you've been blue collar all your life. For people that don't know, what does that hard work teach you?
Well, it teaches you that a few things. Number one is if you don't go out there and work, you're not going to earn. If you're not in the field, you're not going to make it. Another one is that no one's going to give you anything. You got to go out there and get it. So you really just got to get your boots up, put your work boots on every day, and get to work and serve the people that you're working for.
Awesome. So being an owner operator, obviously, Eric has talked about him working with the business and the trials and tribulations there with the family life. How was it for you balancing home and work, especially being not only on the road doing the job, but focusing on the business aspect as well?
Yeah, that was a lot. I had Charlie and his sister Kayla were our first, and then I got both of them playing hockey, and then I started coaching. So it was you just hands on with that, and then work. My wife was great. She wasn't working at the time. We had the ability to she would get them to the rink. I'd meet them there, and so on. But that was it was a challenge. Just getting out of work or having to leave something left over for the next day. You gotta get things done. Otherwise, you're not getting paid.
Yeah. I think I took this from your website. Do it the right way. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, do it once and do it right, so you don't have to go back. Because when you're out on a service call or any type of call, putting could be a heating system or a full house rough, whatever it is. You just got to make sure it's done properly. Otherwise, you're gonna have callbacks, and you don't make money on callbacks.
Yeah, so I've talked with a few folks. I got young kids myself, and we were, talking about sports costs and all that stuff. And obviously, hockey's not a cheap sport. What was the challenges with youth sports, and obviously the time and the monetary commitment and the pressures at work and everything like that? How did you balance that all out?
Yeah, just I worked the days I didn't have to practice with him because I was coaching then. Luckily, when you coach, you get a little break on the tuition, and that was helpful for me. That's a reason why I stepped into that, because I had both of them playing. Kayla and Charlie both played hockey, and then we had twin girls who also played hockey. So balancing it was it goes by so fast. And for you guys who have the young children out there, enjoy it now, because I just can't believe I am where I am here at TD Garden. But back then when they were younger, it was just a grind. You just you got up every morning early and you got started, and you hit the pillow, and you knew you did well that day.
Now, obviously, Charlie plays at the highest level. Do you think him watching you work, and obviously the generations of hard workers before him, kind of instilled that value in him and getting him where he is today?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie, his mother. I thank God for his mother. That's for sure. She's got the patience in the family. But yeah, he was always very understanding of what was going on, and they saw it. They knew that I was coming home dirty, getting things done, and then just jumping into the next role of being a father and being present for my children and my wife. They understood it, and he saw that, and I guess it creates a lot. It creates discipline. It creates understanding what your dad's doing and what your mom's doing to do the right thing and do the best for you.
Yeah, and as a parent, I mean, you've taken him to practice. You've been there supporting him the whole way. What kind of emotions and what was going through your head the first time you saw him play at a professional level?
I'll never forget it. The Bruins got a hold of us, and we flew up to Ottawa. Charlie got called up. He played 2 games in Providence, and several Bruins defensemen were injured, and he got called up. They flew us up to Ottawa, my wife and I, for the first game, and he's a D partner with Zdeno Chara, and I'm just sitting there, and I can't believe it. It's like, I'm just to this day, it brought tears to my eyes without a doubt, and I knew right then this kid made it. It was something else. The pride for all his hard work, it paid off.
I got to throw in an unscripted question. Was it tough Was it tough seeing him put on a Bruins jersey?
Not at all. When I was a kid, I liked the Bruins too. I was a big fan of Jean Rattel. He played for the Rangers, and my dad was friends with him, and he lived right down our block. So when John came here, he would get us tickets when the Bruins came back to MSG, Madison Square Garden in New York, and we'd meet John. And the first jersey that I bought after delivering newspapers and saving up was a Bruins jersey.
Okay.
With Jean Rattel's number on it.
How do you think growing up in a blue-collar home helped him prepare for the pro side?
Yeah, again, he knows what hard work is.
Yeah.
That was something I didn't really need to teach him. Whether it was because he saw what I was doing or not, he was always a kid that was motivated, always ready to go, had his bag by the door. When I was, I'd call home, he'd be ready, he'd be waiting for me. Dad, we're going to be late. He wanted to get to that rink, he wanted to do his job. So when growing up in that environment, definitely, I think it helped him. He understood that nothing was going to be given to him and that he's got to go out there and earn it.
So if the first generation McAvoy saw where you are, the business, and Charlie is today, what do you think he'd say?
That's a great question. I'd love to see it. I think about it sometimes. I think about my dad, who never had the opportunity to even meet my wife. He passed away when I was 21, very young man at 58. So yeah, those are things that I think about. My grandfather, I'm sure he's proud. I'm sure that he's, they're up there watching the game. They'll be watching tonight.
So what would be one of the biggest pieces of advice that you could give to blue-collar parents? Obviously, hustle and bustle of kids being in sports or whatever activities they do, and obviously trying to manage all that. Like, what's one piece of advice you could give them to motivate them and what they're doing is the right thing? I mean, I'm in that situation now. It's from work to wrestling practice and back to work, and but I come from a hardworking environment, the blue collar space. Like, what would be a good piece of advice for them?
Yeah, that's another great question. That's
I mean, for me, it would probably be don't sleep too much.
Yeah, basically, it's going to get tough. There were tough times. It's going to get tough. The grind is real, and you just got to stick with it because your kids love it. You want to make them happy. You want to enjoy every bit of it. To watch them one day, maybe their dream will come true. And if not, they're going to have fun doing it, and you're going to be there. We used to call it windshield time. We'd just be, driving to Toronto, driving to Buffalo, driving to Michigan, driving to Florida for tournaments, and we just have time, and that's family time. But things get tough, and you got to stick it out. And your kids are going to love you for it, and they're going to love you no matter what. And that's really what it comes down to.
Now, I'm sure you sacrificed something, a job or whatever, but what was one of the bigger opportunities that you passed up on the business side to support your family, or one of the on the other side, like sacrifice something, a tournament or something that you didn't have time for to do a big job?
There were probably more times that I couldn't make the tournament, and I had to give Charlie to another family so that I could stay back and work.
Yeah,
those were more than me having to bail on a job because I had to go. So luckily I had the support of other families and other coaches to help my family because I had to work. I had to. It just had to get done.
Yeah. Did Charlie ever come out with you and work summers and all that stuff?
Yeah, he did. I would get him going every so often. When we had a real nasty job, I'd have him break up a whole street to run a new sewer main or a water main. And there's actually an article that came out today that I did, and he got so sunburned this one day. He was probably 14 years old, and his tarps were off, and he was going for it. He got so sunburned he couldn't work the next day.
Yeah.
But we got the job done. He's like, Dad, when should I stop digging? I said, dig until you hit the pipe.
So, I mean, obviously with the business, you've been doing this for a long time. Obviously, it's handed down generation over generation. Was Charlie in line to take it? Did you see things going in a different way? Did he want to take it?
I don't think I ever wanted him to do that. And I've said this before. I think he was too smart to be a plumber. But, I just know that, I enjoy it. If I had the opportunity that he had, I would have played hockey too. But that just wasn't in the cards. And I didn't plan it like this to give Charlie every opportunity to become a pro hockey player. I never thought that was going to happen, But I didn't really think I wanted him to be a plumber. I was hoping there was something different for him.
So what's next for the business after you?
So my brother Kevin, who jumped in with me, he was already working as well when my dad passed. So he retired 5 years ago, but his boys work for us. I have Kevin Jr. and Robert McAvoy, and those guys are doing a hell of a job. They'll be taking over when I'm ready to retire. Just turned 60 this year, so I'm not ready yet. I enjoy working. I enjoy making money, and love the business. Wish I could get to more hockey games, but we're going to go to Italy in February. Let's go USA.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep going. That's it. The grind is real, right? Like I said, and we just keep doing it, and it's all good.
So obviously, piggybacking on that, Charlie's had an epic career with one of the most decorated franchises in NHL, one of the original six. But how does it feel for you, him representing the United States?
Yeah, I mean the Bruins alone is would be enough. That's something special to be a part of an original six hockey club and be an alternate captain with the team. But with USA, he played with the U.S. national team, and I'll never forget the day that he made that team. I was in Detroit with him, and he went out there as a 15-year-old, spent 2 years in Ann Arbor playing for the national team, and pretty much he had to take his toothbrush with him, and they took care of everything else. But when USA comes calling to play, Charlie usually calls me right away, and he's like, "Dad, I'm putting the jersey on again." He just has so much pride in putting the USA jersey on and supporting and playing for his country.
What was one of your most favorite or memorable moments in his career, one that stands out above all of them?
Probably the World Juniors that they won up in Canada. They beat every team. They beat Canada twice, and they beat Russia twice in the Toronto-Montreal World Juniors that year. And they put it on every year on New Year's Day for whatever reason on NHL Network, and I watch it every time. That was a highlight. I mean, the other one was making it all the way to 2019 Stanley Cup Finals with the Bruins, and unfortunately losing that seventh game. We were here, and that was you have your highs of being drafted that year in 2016 first round by the Bruins, and then you have your lows. It's not a huge low because you still made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but you just didn't win it. And making it to that seventh game, just never know when you're going to get there again.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for hockey parents in general?
Yeah, just if you're coaching, good luck. If you're not, let them play, let them have fun. What's going to happen is going to happen. You support them the best you can, get them on the ice as much as possible, especially if they love it. And, just listen, I could tell you some good ones about what I did with Charlie. It wasn't always fun. And I wish I could say it was different like that. But there were some of those windshield rides that he wouldn't want to remember.
So speaking of the national team, outside of obviously Charlie, you excited about the group of guys? Who are you also rooting for on the team? Who are you excited to see Charlie play alongside with?
Yeah, they go back playing together for so long. When Charlie was little, he played for the Boston Junior Bruins. I don't know how these guys did it, but the Masters brothers who ran the program, Boston Junior Bruins, they somehow picked out at 5 and 6 years old these kids, and it was like we had the Kachuks, we had Austin Matthews, we had Jack Eichel, we had Noah Hannafin, who will be playing tonight with Vegas, and they were all playing on the same teams in the summertime. We would go to Montreal. We play the Montreal Meltdown, the Toronto OTTF, it was called, tournament. The tournaments were amazing, but that whole group, and we're going to get to be with those guys. Plus the Hughes family, who their dad played at St. Mary's High School on Long Island that I used to play against. So it was there's a bunch of connections. The hockey world is a very small world.
Yeah, and obviously you've been on this earth a very long time. So what is one of your favorite USA players over years?
My favorite USA player was probably Brian Leach. I loved watching Leachy play. With this team, I love like Austin Matthews and even the Hughes boys. I mean, and all of them. Jack Eichel, I can't wait to watch him play. I got to watch him play when Charlie was at BU. So yeah, it's just going to be fun to watch every one of them.
Yeah, speaking of BU, obviously, he went up through that program, and guys like Mike Eruzione, did they have a big impact on him? Was that kind of like an area that, he started to blossom into something that was going to make it to the show?
Yeah, for sure. When he got to BU, I'll never forget meeting, they call him Rizzo, right? We met Rizzo at one of the dinners, and he's coming over to me, and he's asking me questions about kids on Long Island. Who's this kid? Because they're scouting, and he's trying to get guys at BU. And it was funny. But then David Quinn, who was Charlie's Charlie's coach at the time, really put an element into Charlie's game that you could see he was preparing him for the next level. And that program was awesome. It was just it was awesome to get up to BU on those nights, on Friday nights. I'd just about make it to the game with the traffic from Long Island. Forget about it. If I didn't leave at 12 o'clock on a Friday, I was late to the game.
When did you show Junior Miracle?
He watched Miracle as soon as it came out, which was so we had a van that we probably put 300,000 miles on that I had a 27-inch TV in the back. It was one of those luxury vans. It was my probably best investment I made as a father. I took all my kids to to tournaments in it, and Charlie watched Miracle. They watched everything. Like Mike, they watched them all, but Miracle was his favorite.
Yeah, what were they? Ford Econolines? They were awesome.
It was the Chevy Express 1500 series.
Oh, the Astro. Yeah.
No, not the Astro, the Express van. It was a van, a full-size van.
Yeah. And you had a TV in it and everything?
TV in it and everything, yeah.
Oh, dude, living in luxury. I like it.
Those were the days.
So obviously, this was a right fit for Brunt and the brand. You hardworking, you embody, our product and, everything that we stand for, we like to support. Obviously the men and women in the trades, and you've been doing it for generations now. We're just getting started. Really excited to be a part of this partnership. Charlie brings that grit and that tenacity to the ice. Obviously represents the values of the blue collar individual. So I'm really excited to keep this partnership going. Can't wait to make it down to Long Island and see your operation, spend some time with you, doing a day in the life. But I really appreciate you giving a little background on your family, opening up, and we're going to get to see Charlie tonight, so I'm really excited about it. But thanks again for being on the podcast. And it's
my pleasure, Jeremy. Thanks very much. I appreciate being here.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Let's get a picture.